Welcome to another episode of the Own Your Eating podcast. And today, obviously, hosted by myself, Roz Ackerman, but I'm also joined by the lovely Magali Chauvin. That was my best French accent then. Did I say it right?
Yeah, that was perfect. Did you practice?
Yeah, I was practicing for like 5 minutes in the car earlier. It's been so long since I spoke French, but more commonly known as Mags, which I think I actually prefer the other version. It makes you sound like a movie star.
Thank you. I know my dad cringes when people use my nickname
Oh,
because he of course, loves my full name. It's
I
funny.
bet he was like had these aspirations of one day he would see you in Hollywood.
Probably.
But anyway, you are certainly a star in our world. You are on our coaching team. You are also, for those of the listeners out there who don't know, you're also a coach at North Naples CrossFit, a level 1 and level 2 certified CrossFit coach, right?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. And also you have a master's in what is it? In what is it? Science and integrative health. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. Nutrition and integrative health.
I know.
So
I don't know how you guys pronounce things. I pronounce things the English way. But anyway, we'll let that slide. But that's a serious course that you undertook there. How long did it take you to complete that course?
It took me about 3.5 years, about 3 years, I would say. But I went through the summer as well. So it's about a 4-year program, but you can, finish it actually if you want faster if you take the summer semester.
So you were kind of doing it on the side or, working, like doing it whilst you were still working at the same time, right?
Exactly.
That is so tough. That I remember when I was studying in college and I was like, thank God I'm doing this full time because I don't know how I could do this and actually have a full-time job at the same time. It just take far too long, far too stressful too. But so I have some questions for you today. I really want to get to know you better. I think our clients, our listeners really want to get to know all of our team members a little bit better. And I don't know if any of our listeners have taken the time to take a look at our team page on the website, but the little nickname I've given you is our gut health guru because of all the experience and knowledge that you do have, and also kind of behind the scenes story when Jason wasn't too well back at Christmas time over the holidays. He ended up sending you a picture of his poop, right?
He did. And I think he also shared that he sent pictures of his poop on your social media. So after that, I actually got quite a few more
yeah, people are like,
oh. But I actually like that stuff.
People are like, oh, Max can tell me what's wrong with me by looking at my poop. I'm going to send her pictures of my poop. Please, if you're listening now, do not do that. Max does not want an inbox literally full of poop. So please don't do that. But let's dive right on in here then. And earlier today, actually, I had one of the most perfect mornings, to be honest, because I got to get up, go to yoga, and then have brunch with you. And it got me to start thinking, you know what? If this is my perfect day, I wonder what Mags's perfect day looks like. Because mine, certainly starting with some yoga and then going for a nice casual brunch with a friend is like the perfect start to a day. If I could do that every day, I would be so happy. So I wanted to know from you, what's your perfect day? From start to finish, what does that look like?
That's so funny that you said that because I thought pretty similar to you, whereas today was an awesome day. Not only that, but I got to wake up, have some coffee, take my dog for a walk, which is the best part of my morning usually, and then go to yoga, stretch a little bit, have some brunch. And it was quality. So it was, for me, that's, if I eat a quality breakfast to start, I always feel super energized and, great throughout the day. And then after that, I came back home, walked my dog again. I actually was off today, so that was a win. Went to the gym, did some CrossFit. And then I came home, did some emails, made lunch, and then prepared, a dinner, a wonderful dinner. So getting in all three of my meals, making sure that I'm hitting all of my food, because sometimes if it's a busy day, that can be challenging, just not eating enough or having to grab a snack or something like that. So I got to eat 3 full, beautiful meals, spend some time with my friends, as well as work out and my dog. So, called my dad. It was pretty solid.
I love it. And I think that's probably why we get on so well, because it's all those simple things that when added up together, that's just, life doesn't need to be complicated. Just enjoying life's simple little luxuries like that, like being able to get up in your own time, schedule your day accordingly, not be, rushing around like crazy, enjoying your meals, sitting down, actually having a conversation with your friends, spending time with your pet. It's funny, earlier today I did the same thing. I got home from brunch and I just kind of sat with the dogs and like petted them for a while. And it's, I don't know, there's something very therapeutic and enjoyable about a day like that, where you're just simply enjoying every moment as it comes. I think that's what it boils down to, right?
100%.
Love
100%.
It. And let's see, what else did I have for you? So when we were at brunch this morning, what was it that what did you order in the end? I forget.
I had the triathlete. It's one of my go-tos at First Watch. I love that place for brunch. It's probably one of my favorites for brunch or breakfast. They have so many different options, but it's egg white omelet with mushrooms, and then it comes with a little bit of salsa, and then their multi-grain toast, and then they have a homemade berry jam or something like that. I love it. So
yeah, their toast looks so good. I'm definitely gonna have to get that next time. Is First Watch a chain?
Yes.
So they have them in the rest of the country, or is it just Florida?
No, they have them. I know they have them in Pittsburgh, because I lived there for a short time and there was the First Watch there. I'm not sure everywhere, but I know they're all, if they're in Pittsburgh, they've got to be north, and I'm not sure about west, but definitely a chain, yeah.
Well, I love it, and I can't believe I've never been there before. And when you suggested, hey, let's go to First Watch, or this is like my go-to place, I looked it up because I've heard about it before, but I've never been. And I was like, wow, they have all the nutrition information on their website. And then, of course, I went right into MyFitnessPal and started looking things up. And I was like, oh my gosh, they have all the macros for all of their dishes in there. And on their website as well, I noticed you could even select different options. So if you wanted to have your pancakes with butter or without, you could do all that. And I was blown away. I was like, yes, we are going there. And now I'm going to be getting Jason there every time he's around on the weekend, or even during the week. Midweek brunches are going to be happening in my near future. But yeah, no, I love that.
And if Jason
place.
doesn't want to go, I'll go.
Awesome. I love it. We can have a weekly brunch date catch up. And so what is that what you would normally have as your go-to meal when you're out of town, or what's one of your favorite go-to meals? Because that to me is like, I think that was a very sensible option. Don't get me wrong, it looked delicious and I'm sure it was really satisfying, but what would be like your go-to, oh yeah, I just really want to crush that meal?
This is tough. Can it be local?
It could be local. It could be a local spot. It could be some.
Okay, so a couple places that I have to, every once in a while I have to have is there's a place called Organically Twisted. They do this mung bean taco salad, but I get it in a wrap with hot sauce. Love it. So amazing. I can crush the whole thing. And then, of course, they also make homemade cupcakes.
Oh, okay. Now we're
something
talking.
That I would definitely splurge on.
Now we're talking. Homemade cupcakes. Yum.
Yeah. And then sushi. Sushi is another big one for me. I love sushi. So if I'm going out of town or something like that, I always want to get something like that, or ramen, something
I
something
know
similar to
Jay's a
that.
big fan of sushi too. Whenever we're away, he's like, "Can we get sushi?" But I don't know. I struggle with tracking that, and also I think it's because I always go for the really complex sounding rolls, whereas he just likes the nigiri ones with the fish on top, which I'm not such a big fan of. I don't think I'm like a true authentic sushi lover. I like the westernized version of sushi, the deep fried rolls.
Oh, see, I'm like Jason. I like the almost more so of the not the fried rolls, but I do like the ones that have, a little bit of flavor to them. So like a little jalapeno on top
Oh yeah,
or sriracha. That's so good.
those are
So
definitely good. Awesome. All right. So moving on, quick segue here from food to let's dive into this is a tough question. I almost didn't put this down because I don't know what I would tell myself. But if you could go back in time, Mags, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
um, that is a really, really tough question. Uh, but I actually would probably have told myself just to believe in myself, to know my self worth, and to be confident, in who I was and who I am, because I think it took me a long time to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could have gotten to that point just a little bit earlier, I may have maybe found some passions earlier in life, and I may have just been able to um, maybe get around some of the choices that we make at a young age.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would probably have to say, to believe in myself more.
Yeah, I like it. It's funny because when I think back to my 18-year-old self, I think, geez, well, one, that was a long time ago. But also at the time, I remember feeling like I knew myself and I knew what I was doing, but at the same time, I really knew nothing. Like I think you feel like you want to be so grown up and so mature, and there's all these expectations out there, but in reality, it's like actually you just need to be patient with yourself at that point. Like trust that you're going to learn a whole lot about yourself along the way, and it's going to take some time. And it's funny because I remember when I was turning 30, I was still living in the Cayman Islands, and I think that's always like this pivotal moment in most people's lives, men and women, but maybe more so for women sometimes because we like to always plan and think ahead for the future. And I obviously anticipated that I would have achieved a whole string of things by the age of 30. But I remember my yoga teacher at the time just being like, Roz, this is hands down going to be the best decade of your life. Like, you are going to know yourself and you are going to love your 30s. And I was like, wow, like, I'm actually excited because I feel like that's true. And now, like, I'm living it, I'm in my 30s. Like, she's so right. She was so right. I think you'd have no idea what there is to come when you're 18 years old. There's just so much to learn and so much to be patient
Yeah,
about learning.
I agree. I agree.
Um, so and that kind of leads me to a question about where you are right now, because obviously now you're a coach with us, you're a coach at CrossFit, but did you think when you were 18 or even several years ago you would be where you are right now, like doing the work that you're doing? Did you want to be a coach? Did you want to be a movie star? What did you think you were going to be doing at that point in your life?
It's so it's so crazy to kind of think back on my experiences, because I've done a lot. I've traveled. I worked music
I
festivals
know. I
for
remember you telling me one
a
time
period.
about the
Yeah,
crazy people you've been in contact with and that you've worked for. There's a lot of backstory that we'll have to get to on another episode.
seriously. No, there's a lot. But yeah, I mean, I never would have imagined that I would be at this point back then.
Hmm.
But like you said, I think in our 30s and now I'm so, I mean, I'm so happy to have found what I have found, and that's a passion for, nutrition and coaching. I mean, CrossFit, I mean, I literally wake up every day excited for what I do. And I think that, maybe it was probably part of the journey, but I'm so happy to have been able to discover that. So.
Yeah. And I think anybody who knows you knows that is just so true, because you just radiate your passion. Like whenever you walk through the doors at the gym, it's like you just get a sense of your energy. You're one of those people, it's like your energy is felt immediately that you walk in through the doors. So I, for one, am so glad that you did find your passion, and that we're facilitating that too, and you being able to work with our clients and hear about their progress and you guys developing relationships. That makes me happy, and that makes me passionate about what we're doing as well. So I love it. Love it when things come full circle. So let's talk a little bit more about your journey and your how you arrived here. I'm sure that you had to overcome a lot of obstacles, and just like a lot of our clients experienced some difficulties on their journey with nutrition. Let's talk about one thing in your life that maybe you don't mind sharing with us that you've failed at. This is heavy.
One thing?
It doesn't have to be heavy.
Honestly, I mean, I might have to like opt out of one thing, because I have failed at everything. I have. And I feel that if you don't fail at it, then you're not learning or moving forward. So I think it's important to fail, and to make mistakes and to try different things, nutritionally, for example, or how many times, if we're just going to take it to the basics, how many times have we failed a lift, for CrossFit?
Yeah. I know for a fact you're not a fan of failing back squats.
How did you know?
I think you mentioned it the other day. You were talking about not PRing your back squat despite having gone through this whole strength cycle.
Two cycles for my back squat.
I remember distinctly as well one time actually working out with Jay, and I think it's a common thing. We do hate failing as human beings, and we were doing some back squats, and I can't remember. It was a ridiculous number of reps, something like 15 or 20. And he didn't want to do the last set. And I was like, why? And he was like, because I'm probably going to fail. And I was like, and so what? Like, if you get to 12, you still got 12 more reps than 0. So right. Why not just do 12? Like, shoot for 12. And if you get 20, well, hey, you didn't fail. Like, yeah, not trying something is failure in my eyes. Like, if you try and it doesn't work out, well, that's not failure to me. That's experimenting, and I applaud anybody who has the guts and the courage to do that. And
yeah, definitely.
Moving beyond that concept of failure. For me, failure really only happens if you take no action at all. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
That's wise.
All right, let's get into some nitty gritty stuff. Maybe things that people don't know about you. Do you have any tattoos?
I do. I have 3. 3? And they were all impulsive.
Were they really? It's so funny because you're such a balanced and grounded person, but then you do like have this kind of, I feel like, wacky hippie side.
It's so funny that you say that. Yeah, I definitely do.
So tell us about the tattoos. Where are they, and what are they?
Little spontaneous.
Yeah.
My very first tattoo. Well, I don't even like to really talk about it. I was 18. and it's just, right on my hip.
Oh my God, we're like twinsies. I did the same thing at 18.
Really?
Yes.
Is it a Chinese symbol?
Oh, almost. I'll tell you what it is. It's I think it's I can't even tell you if it's Greek or Roman. I think it might be Greek. It's a Greek symbol for my star sign.
Okay, so mine is a little Chinese symbol that means strength. So,
Oh, I like it.
Same sort of thing. Very spontaneous.
Do you know what? I don't care what anyone says. I think all tattoos have an element of cheesiness about them. Like I don't think you can like avoid that. There's always going to be some kind of cheesy context to getting a tattoo.
And then I have two others. I have a kind of a bigger, large piece on my lower back.
Oh.
And that's just it's a conch shell with the sun around it and the stars. So it's the flag of Key West. That's where I was born.
Oh, is it really? I wondered. Yeah. You know what? I saw that for the first time, I think, today in yoga because it got so hot and sweaty in the class we were in. And I saw the conch shell in it, and I was wondering what the kind of symbolism of that was. I had no idea that was the flag for Key West. So cool.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And I guess when you're born in Key West, you're a conch. So it's so funny. When I got back from when I went to the competitors course this weekend for CrossFit, there was a gentleman in the class, and I was doing handstand push-ups, and I guess when I kicked down, he saw the tattoo, and he said, "Are you a conch?"
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that is
I am.
So
and he's like,
funny.
Me too. And I was like, "Whoa, small world."
So, did he have a little conch shell tattooed on his lower back?
He should get one. But no, he did not. But it was funny that it was like, that you can take that from. So it was the first time that's happened to me.
I love it. Nice little talking point. That's hilarious. I'm gonna call you conch from now on. And what's your third one?
My last one is on my upper back, and it's a Tibetan symbol that means luck, love, and life. And that one's actually my newest, I would say. Still was spontaneous, but actually my mother wears that necklace around her neck every day, so it was a little bit more meaningful to me. So
that's nice. It's like a nice little reminder of your mom.
Yeah. Or maybe just an excuse to get the tattoo.
Do your parents know that you have all these 3 tattoos?
Oh yeah. My mom, she's not so much of a fan of them. She's like, please, no more. Although I have been thinking about another one for a while, but I'm not going to say anything about that.
Okay.
And my dad's actually the chiller of the.
Yeah.
And he actually has suggested getting a tattoo with me, so he's kind of on board.
That's cool. I like it. I think this is where you get your little hipster side from your dad. It's so funny though. I got back from Hawaii, and I was having a call with my mom, and she was like, "So I hear you brought a piece of Hawaii back with you," and I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And she was like, "Didn't you get another tattoo?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And she was like so disappointed in me. I'm like,
what?
Mom, I'm 34 years old. She's like, "Oh, it's so big though." I'm like, ugh, okay. People can barely see it. It's fine. Chill out.
I like that you and Jason have that same one too.
I know. It's funny. We started a trend without even realizing it, but every year we've been together now, we've gotten a tattoo together. So it's kind of our little thing that we do. Very sweet. I don't know. Other people just get each other gifts.
Tattoo.
What's that?
In 50 years, you might have 50 tattoos.
Yeah, I think the trend may fade out at some point. Awesome. And then I have one final question for you, Mags. What is your unique superpower that you think maybe has led to all your success in life, or that you just feel is your superpower on a day-to-day basis?
I'm going to have to go with reflection on that one. I think that throughout my life, I've failed a lot. I've definitely made some poor choices. I felt like giving up or shutting down, right? Sometimes you're like, I'm just gonna, or settling. And every single time I kind of reflect on that, and it seems to push me forward. So, I'm able to learn from my mistakes and, take away from that. And I've found that when I'm pushing through and staying committed to what I really want in life, I end up following those dreams and those passions and getting closer to being the person that I truly want to be and who I feel confident in. So yeah, I would say that would be my superpower. I wish it was something cooler like flying.
I don't know. I think the power of being able to reflect and be introspective and be able to grow as a person is a pretty freaking awesome power to have. And I would definitely agree that you have that power 100%. And we are so lucky that you do have that superpower and that you're on our team, being able to rub off on us and our clients. I think, you're a phenomenal asset to have on our coaching staff. And thank you for your time this evening and this morning for accompanying me for breakfast and yoga. I've had a phenomenal day hanging out with you. And I think all our listeners have enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better. And if any of our listeners have any questions for Mags about gut health or any holistic concepts that they might want to know more about. Also, Mags is a phenomenal cook, so if people want recipe suggestions or just want some more advice about some better quality cooking that's easy and efficient for a group of people, because Mags often has to make big dinners for her roomies, then feel free to email in to contact@ownyoreating.com. I'm sure we will pass those emails on to Mags, and I'm sure Mags will be happy to answer them for you guys. Of course, you can also reach out to Mags in our lifestyle group if you're one of our lifestyle members. So feel free to ask Mags any questions you have in there. And yeah, I'm excited for our next yoga and brunch date, Mags.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Kaz. I'm so happy to be a part of the team, and I am just loving this. So yeah, thank you for this. It was great.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mags. All right. We're tuning out. Thanks for joining us today, guys, on the Own Your Eating podcast, and we will catch up with you for another episode next week.